Hey everybody, welcome back to 13 Rings and NFC East podcast. I'm your host with Earl and Maurice. And sadly, Mal's boss is not being cool today and she cannot join us tonight. But you know what? We've taken a week off and that's long enough. So we're going to go ahead and record tonight. And fellas, I missed you all. I missed you guys last week.
Yeah, we took a week off, for many different reasons. But this week,
Let's be real. I was sick as a dog.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you needed some Pokemon medicine to get you into full recovery.
Lucas needed a sensu bean.
I needed a sensu bean. I needed to go see Nurse Joy.
Nah, you need to see more. You needed more than a sensu bean. You need one of those Poke candies and half of a rare candy to get you
shout
where you
out,
needed to
shout
be.
out, Professor Oak.
Yes.
Professor Oak.
And shout
Anyway,
out to
so
Ash Ketchum, still being 10 years old through 20 plus years. Da-da-da-da.
I could go into something really dark there, but we're not going to do that because we're still talking football here. We know it's the off season, guys, but you know what? OTAs are happening right now, and there's some news that comes from OTAs. So we're gonna give it to Earl here. Earl, this was supposed to be the episode where you get to talk grade this Cowboys off season, but that's okay. We'll save that for another episode. But talk to us about what have we learned about the Cowboys during OTAs?
I learned that it's a complete culture change where I'm low key excited for what's about to happen this upcoming season.
Really? How is it a culture change when the only person left is the defensive coordinator?
What I'm hearing from OTAs, I'm kind of low key excited on what I'm hearing from camp and well from the OTAs itself. This is going into the second week, and the more that I'm like hearing from particular players, especially those coming off injuries, I'm really liking what I'm hearing from these guys. I can't wait for them to put the pads on and to see this under full display. Mike Zimmer, with the short amount of time that he's had with the team coming back to Dallas, I'm really eager to see how this is going to play out because I'm hearing from different players that there's structure, there's accountability, something that I really wanted the defense to have over the last couple of seasons. Really haven't had the chance to have that. So I'm excited for them to have it now. And finally, I'm able to see how the defense is going to look. I'm hearing things of a 4-3. I'm happy about that because that means I get to have three linebackers on the field. Traditional old school linebackers, bigger physical linebackers, not hybrid safeties playing linebacker, not corners playing linebackers, not playing skinny safeties at linebacker. I'm seeing legit linebackers, something that I really wanted them to have when Mr. Quinn was a defensive coordinator. I can't say that he made an emphasis on it because the situation where uh, when you have your defense call their own stunts, that means you're doing a sad, pathetic job as a defensive coordinator because you can't designate a stunt for the defense. I'm starting to see more execution with what they're doing, especially through walkthroughs. And I found out Mike is back at OTAs, which is definitely going to be key for him because with how they're doing the linebacker room, they're already going to have their Mike, they're going to have their Will, and then they're going to have their Sam. If you don't know what those terms mean, a Will linebacker basically is a weak side linebacker that runs freely to the ball whenever he pleases. I know who's going to be playing that spot. Then you have a Sam linebacker, who's more of the stronger linebacker to be able to cover behind the defensive end and certain things playing the bigger linebacker role. I know who's playing that spot. And I already know who's going to be the Mike leading in the linebacker room. So I'm excited to see where they're going with that. I'm also excited to see what Dak Prescott does in a year two of Mike McCarthy's offensive scheme. I feel like last season they really was just trying to hash out how it's going to look, be able to execute, find schemes for it. This time around, hearing from Coach McCarthy, they're ready to just play ball. So I'm excited to see where this will lie. Some of the some of what Coach McCarthy was talking about is competition. So that means the different position rooms going to be in competition. But I'll explain that more next week when I do more of an overall breakdown of the Cowboys. But for right now, I'm excited what I'm seeing, as well as just seeing how the new coaches are there on the defensive side of the ball, and just seeing how I can at least say from last year, the offense was more of the team that had an edge, while the defense was still trying to figure out what their identity is. I think now, seeing with what's brewing, I think they might be able to find that edge that they're looking for and to be able to shift it a bit where it keeps the overall balance.
That's cool, man. Look, so I got a few questions for you.
Shoot,
So first, Dak said he's not playing for money, but there's still the contract not being signed yet. Secondly, CD ain't there. Are you worried about that at all?
I'm not worried about CD Lamb right now. He's currently training with his cousin Keon Coleman.
I
So
didn't
he's
realize
working to
that they
keep.
were cousins.
I told you that before in pods beforehand, but
I believe you.
he's
I just forgot.
that's all good, bro. No worries. He's currently training with his cousin Keon and getting his body right. I saw some of the workouts he's been doing. He looks faster. He's working on his route running as well as being more faster and stronger, breaking out of his breaks in sort of a route. But this really, I feel like OTAs give the younger guys a chance to see what they have. And with their wide receiver room, I'm very eager to see what's going to happen, especially with CD Lamb's contract. I believe a deal will get done during training camp. And with having see what the young guys do, I'm able to see what Jalen Tolbert is looking to do. He's looking to be that guy to take over Michael Gallup's spot and potentially be a wide receiver 3. I'm eager to see what Cavante Turpin has. I'm also excited to see what rookie Ryan Flournoy has. It seems like in OTAs right now they're doing their route running, and I'm hearing that his speed and his route running is a bit lethal. So I'm really excited to see what he does in preseason. And then one receiver that was an undrafted guy, Jalen Marino Cropper, he's recovering from an ACL tear, and he's also running routes and things. So it really seems like they're really trying to get their guys going for that wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, and also the lower part of the wide receiver depth chart, as well as potentially bringing guys back for practice squad if the time comes for that.
So
So,
I sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna shift over to Dak's situation.
Just real quick about the wide receiver. I heard a quote from Brandon Cook saying that Turpin is ready to break out, ready to have
You
a
mean
breakout season.
Tolbert?
Tolbert, yeah, sorry, Tolbert.
Jalen Tolbert?
Tolbert, yeah, is ready to have a breakout season as wide receiver 3. Do you think that's the case?
I think that's the case. I really feel like with him being able to get out of Kellen Moore's offensive schemes where it's not a lot of thinking, but just utilizing your gifted ability. And with him being able to learn that from Brandon Cooks, who's been a solid mentor to these wide receiver guys, the guys in the wide receiver room, they really like Brandon Cook's presence. It's really helped CD Lamb improve, especially last season, but also being able to help the young guys right now while CD is away. So that's going to give them some really good mentorship under Brandon Cooks. But Jalen Tolbert, this is his opportunity to take that wide receiver 3 spot, possibly even work his way up to a wide receiver 2. You never know. But I'm looking for him and Turpin to get more tick, especially at the wide receiver 3 and 4. Oh, I also forgot Jalen Brooks, rookie from last year. He's also working to try to get that wide receiver 4 spot. So there's a lot of guys trying to get that 4th spot on the depth chart. And some guys, there might be some guys that might get left out, but possibly brought back for the practice squad. So I'm really liking what the wide receiver room looks like, but I'm very interested to see how this running back room is going to look, because I think they're only going to have 3 running backs on the chart, and one of them could be a fullback, and Hunter Lukey.
Uh,
So
Earl, let me ask you a question. Has there been any update on Trayvon Diggs?
Ooh, that's a good one.
right now, he's currently still just getting himself ready. They said that he should be good to go for training camp.
Hmm.
Right now, with
Okay.
it being an earlier ACL tear, he has time to heal, and
Yeah.
he looked like he's getting better. Only time that's gonna take time. So I really like them drafting Kalen Carson in the 5th round to be one guy that they were working him on the boundary line. So that's kind of working more basically on the outside, working under the boundary line. So that's looking like an outside corner that they're working him to be, where you could think Deron Bland on what he's done, they could move him into the slot. So I feel like with what they do with these corners will be the determination factor on how things will play out for preseason as well as finalizing that depth chart.
Okay.
So the quarterback, I mean the QB room, it has a high ceiling right now because there's guys with untapped potential still looking to scratch the surface, as well as guys who didn't get a chance to play as much get their chance to shine. And the safety room, I'm very interested because Mike Zimmer, he only runs 2 to 3 safeties. Dallas have more than 5 to 6 safeties in their room right now. So some guys are going to be outside looking in. Some guys might be trade pieces. I was also going to get into that later, but hopefully that answers your question. I did. I do want to talk about Dak Prescott right now with this preseason being Trey Lance's preseason. So this is going to show what he's capable of doing because he's also under contract. And I believe with him showing what he can do, he's learning a lot under Dak Prescott and learning a lot from Mike McCarthy, especially with how well he can work with a quarterback on tapping into his full potential. I believe this preseason, you're going to see more of Trey Lance in control, while I think Cooper Rush gets moves to the sunset. But at the same time, I doubt they would pay both quarterbacks. And I could possibly see this as a I would see this as a hot take. Well, before the trade deadline, I could actually see them getting his reps and his reputation solid to the point where I could see them trading Trey Lance for an asset for the Cowboys. Where I don't believe Dak Prescott is leaving Dallas. And I'm hearing sources that Dak is looking around a $65 million contract, where
That's
it's
a
more of a
lot of money, man.
yep,
Yes, it
yep.
is.
It's like I said, it's just a source. It's a source. Whatever area range of that he's looking for, he wants a long-term contract. And I know how Dallas is with they do long-term contracts, but the money situation, Dak understands his worth, where it's not him pushing for this. I think it's more of his agent Todd France pushing for this, where they're trying to get as much leverage for it, while the Joneses, Jerry and Son, are trying to gain leverage. They tried to do it by trading a fourth to get Trey Lance. Dak nearly won the MVP. So they're like, okay, that didn't work. So this time around, they're gonna have to pay somewhere in that pay range for it, where I think his contract might get done 2 weeks into training camp. Only
If he
time will
gets
tell
paid,
for it.
if he gets paid that, do you think it's an overpay?
Well, you gotta
No,
you, you gotta
I
go
don't
with the
think of it.
work what
I
the
don't
market
think of it
says.
as an overpay.
65 for, like, not trying to be mean here, but he's
Lucas, I
doesn't have.
said that is somewhere in the range of it. It's a source. I'm not saying it's something that's
I'm
legit.
I'm just asking you if it ends up being that. Do you think
That's
it's an
too
overpay?
much.
All I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna say it's too much, but I definitely know it will open up space for CeeDee Lamb and Micah to get their contract. As long as they extend Dak Prescott, the other contracts are gonna open up. So whatever you have to do to extend, they're the reason the price went high. If they would have if they wouldn't have franchise tagged Dak Prescott twice, they would have had him under a 30, $35 million contract. into that where you still could have had something lower than that. You really didn't have to wait for another quarterback to set the market for that, even though Dak Prescott got the numbers and stats better than that quarterback. They let the price go high on Dak Prescott. Now they're reaping what they sow from it. So all I'm going to say is if Dak is your dude and you realize, and this is from Stephen Jones, he realized he should have paid Dak his long extension and not dragged it out. Okay, cool. Rewrite your wrong. Extend him. I believe his contracts, he'll get extended either a week or two in the training camp. Next, CeeDee Lamb. And then somewhere along that could be Micah, but they might wait on Micah depending on his linebacker and DN spot. But all I know, Dak getting extended first will open up the contract for CeeDee.
I feel like Earl's trying to be slick here by not actually answering the question of whether or not it's an overpay. But
I
that's
said
okay.
it's not an overpay.
No.
I, based off what the market is, you got to pay the top level quarterbacks. You got to pay at least $50 million. Herbert, Burrow, Lawrence, they got to get paid. So
is Lawrence actually a top level one? I don't know about that.
He's going to get paid like it though.
He's going to get paid like it.
No, yeah, he is. But it's like 50. I would say 50 to 55 million is the going rate right now for quarterbacks.
And if you even say with how Dak done in the postseason, look at what Lawrence has done. Look at what Herbert has done.
Yeah,
fair enough. But they're a lot younger. But anyway, moving on.
Hey, still worst stat line in the playoffs.
Well, moving on, we're going to get to the Commanders. And I want to apologize to our fans last time that we recorded 2 weeks ago, because I did not touch everything that I wanted to touch on. There are two things that I wanted to touch on here real quick here. First off, the whole entire Dan Quinn Washington Commanders shirt fiasco, if you want to call it fiasco. I'm not gonna lie, I actually thought it was really cool. I like the connection to like being respectful, but also connecting to the past. A lot of people were I didn't see any negative reactions online. I don't know about you guys. I think that would make the logo instantly like 20 times cooler. And then, if you wanted to go with that logo and then maybe a name change to like Washington Warriors, that'd be cool with me. But what I know that's the can of worms that we don't. I mean, unless you guys want to open that can of worms, I didn't hate the shirt. I
could care less what y'all do, bro.
I know
whatever will make you feel better.
Earl, what you say? The Washington Command Wizards or whatever.
The football wizard kids.
You guys are awful. But no. I think that got overblown for no reason. The other thing that I forgot to mention was that rookie second round pick Jerzon Newton, sorry, excuse me. He had the same surgery that he had on his left foot on his right foot. So he will be out for a couple months. He should be ready by training camp, though, my understanding.
Well, it's a good thing you have Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen.
Well, I mean, it's starting to become a little bit clear why he dropped to the second round. And but, there's no rush to get him back. Because, like you said, we have those two vets. No rush to get him back. Let him get healthy. And then we'll see what we got in him, okay? I'm not too worried about that. But, that's definitely not ideal to have your, guy that you had, rated as a first-round pick missing the rookie training camp, all these OTAs. That's not ideal. But let's get to OTAs here. So I don't know. Let me hit on the biggest point here first. It's kind of funny, but also kind of concerning. We need to take Manuel Forbes to a buffet. We got to take.
He need to have that off-season peanut butter and granola.
I don't know what he needs, but there's a picture that's been floating around on the internet. It's a picture of him with a fan. And I honestly thought he was the fan because he was so skinny. Guys, it is concerning. I feel like he's lost weight, which I don't even know how you do at that size already.
Look, I'm going to tell you, Dan Quinn is a mad scientist, bro.
Well, speaking of which, Now, speaking of
You
which,
probably won't believe me with this, but yeah, he's trying to build y'all into something, and I hope you're ready for it.
I mean, we'll see what happens. But speaking of mad scientists, one way to to use Forbes that he's trying new is to have him do punt returns at OTAs.
Yeah.
I don't
Yep, it's
look.
already begun.
I mean, look. He's fast. He's quick. He can return the ball to the end zone.
Then
I'm
why did
willing to
y'all
give it a
draft
shot
Luke McCaffrey?
because Luke McCaffrey. Look, his I'm
Just
getting
because of
there.
the
I'm getting.
name?
I'm getting. Dude, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Okay, I'm getting there. But look, I don't hate the move there. We'll see what happens. Another interesting facet, and honestly, it's the fan base seems to be split, and I honestly don't know what the team's going to do here. I don't know who's going to be starting at running back. Is it going to be Robinson? Is it going to be Eckler? I don't know. I don't think it should be Eckler. I think at this
Should be
stage,
Robinson.
it should be
Be
Robinson. It should be, but I've been hearing conflicting things, so I don't know. If they start Eckler,
Who's been saying this stuff?
like Hogs Haven from SB Nation. I'm trying to think of it. I think just those type of sites. So I'm like I said, I haven't heard anything definitive yet, and I think that's probably smart. Maybe have it as a competition, but the competition should sway in Robinson's favor. But we'll just have
I
to
don't
wait.
want it. I don't want y'all to have to endure football politics because that also comes into play. It just depends on what Cliff Kingsbury decides to do because
if he wants a more pass catching starter, then Eckler's
then Eckler's the guy. But if you want something more ground and pound, then that's Robinson's area. So it just depends. You're really the only time will tell is what would occur during training camp and going into the first preseason or second preseason game.
Yeah. But let me talk about my boy here, Jaden Daniels now. He's getting high praise, not only from fellow rookies like Luke McCaffrey, who used to be quarterback, but also vets like Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, other guy. I can't remember other guys off the top of my head, but those are the guys that I'm thinking here. Look, and I've been listening to guys like John Keim, who's covered the Commanders for ESPN for a while here, and I agree. We know that Jaden Daniels is a dual threat quarterback, but he is primarily a pocket passer. He operates inside the pocket. Now, he'll use his legs, but the fact is he's a pocket passer. He likes to pass within the pocket. He's not like RG3 who like to play outside the pocket. He's different in that regard. He is much more he has a good pocket presence. And one quote, and I'm paraphrasing here, so forgive me if it's not exactly right, but Jahan Dotson was like, that's the type of quarterback I've been waiting for. So good stuff from Daniels here in training camp so far. I'm very excited about that. And Luke McCaffrey, he's coming on the scene. He's making a good impression too. I'm very excited about him. I think there's a chance he might leapfrog Dotson. There's a chance. They're not talking about it, but I can see it. And it's just and maybe not in position because Ja might still be on the outside, but in terms of touches, McCaffrey, I have a sneaky suspicion that McCaffrey will be the release, like the safety valve for Daniels this year.
Not even a tight end.
I mean, Sanat, he has some development to do, and maybe he ends up being it. Maybe Zach Ertz, who's like, whoever knows how old he is, but like, I have a sneaky suspicion that they're already McCaffrey and Daniels are on the same page already. I could very well seeing McCaffrey being in the slot because a slot receiver can still be a safety valve. Tell me if I'm wrong, but like,
you're right.
You're right.
I see that being the case. I see. I'm not saying that McCaffrey's going to lead the team in touches. I still think that's Terry, but I can catches. But I think in terms of like being that guy that he goes to on third down or just like the check down, I think McCaffrey's going to be the check down guy most times.
Who do you think is your top 3 wide receivers that
I
will
mean,
start?
it's Terry, Jaha, and Luke for now.
Okay.
But like I said, Jaha might be on the outside, but he's not going to be second in the pecking order. I really think McCaffrey's going to leapfrog him in
If
the
they do
pecking
a
order.
3 wide receiver set, the
Well,
option
they
would
play
be
a lot of
McCaffrey.
3 and 4 wide receiver sets. So honestly, we need to figure out who our number 4 is, which brings me to my next guy here. And I believe his name, and I should have looked this up before him. And he was an undrafted rookie from Georgia, Marcus Rosemary Jack Saint.
Oh, Rosemary Jack Saint?
Yeah. He is
Yeah, I
turning
know.
heads.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's already turning heads. He had a one handy catch and rookie training camp, rookie mini camp. Look, we have no solid option as our number 4. Who, Dami Brown, who's not been super impressive even when he was with his guy Sam Howell. Who else we got? Nobody. So I think number 4 is wide open, and Rosemary Jack Saint might claim that spot, honestly. So that's pretty much all I have to say on the matter. I don't really have much else to say. Do you guys have any questions?
Yes, I have 2 quick questions.
Okay.
One, how is the O-line looking?
We can't do any type of, actual like real drills, but I've been hearing good things about Brandon Coleman.
Okay.
But I've been hearing good things in terms of drills that they can do, but they can't do any contact stuff right now. So it's really hard to evaluate the offensive line. But I don't expect this offensive line to be the same in like 2 years. So, okay. Coleman's probably going to be a piece. Outside of that, who knows?
And what is the situation with Jamin Davis?
Jamin Davis?
Jamin Davis, yeah.
He might be he has a shot to be number 4, but he's still probably going to be a return guy. If not for punt returns, for kickoffs, and maybe him and Forbes.
Jamin Davis. Linebacker.
Oh, Jamin Davis. Oh, sorry. I was thinking of the. Sorry, I got mixed up there. Jamin Davis. Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up. Actually, I forgot about that. So Jamin Davis has been doing some edge drills. Now I should let you guys know that Jamin Davis is in the 230 range in terms of weight.
Mm-hmm. And I have a name for that in which he's playing. He's going to be playing a Viper linebacker.
A Viper linebacker.
Yep. It's a situation where he's a linebacker playing defensive end, but someone with less weight being able to be like a tweener almost. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if Jamin
I think he has a chance to be. I think he look, he doesn't have the what am I looking horizontal, the side to side speed to really do coverage in the middle of the field, but he's a good rusher and he can tackle in the open field. But coverage is his weak point. So maybe Viper edge might be the good position for him then.
But it's also you're going to be light around that side, because even if you decide to go smaller with that, I already think y'all are going to be more of a pass rushing defense. It's looking like that's what it's going to be built like.
Yeah.
The one thing that I just keep
you got to protect the middle.
Quinn, right. You got to learn to stop the run. Now, I understand having Payne and Allen there, but you also got to account to be able to protect your linebackers.
We still Bobby Wagner is still solid, and I trust Frankie Louvu.
He's solid, but he's kind of near the long in the tooth range.
Frankie Louvu,
he's light, and you could even say Jeremy Chin. He's
Jeremy
Chin's
a safety.
He's a hybrid, but it wouldn't surprise me he dropped down playing that linebacker role.
Maybe.
I'm just saying. Your team is probably going to be leaned towards a pass rushing team. I'm just telling you.
No, I know.
Things that'll be
he's
different.
Doing that. Look, as long as we don't get destroyed in terms of, somebody punching it up the middle, then I won't complain about people being a good, if they have the occasional good running game against us.
Look, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna digress. Dan Quinn, he sometimes like being a mad scientist. He's like a Dr. Jekyll trying to find his Mr. Hyde. He's gotta he's gotta utilize y'all pieces the right way. It's up in the air right now, so
Hmm.
I digress.
I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. But I think we will get to. Oh, by the way, I forgot to ask Earl. Did you hear the rumor that you guys are interested in former Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas?
That's wee woo.
You don't believe it?
Nope,
I've heard
not
him
a
connected to
single.
a couple teams, including the Eagles as well.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
I know for Dallas is wee woo because they're
Uh,
stacked right now with what they got. So
he's
I
had
get it.
Michael Thomas has had a couple years with some injuries, but when Drew Brees was there, he was really good.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
Drew
you
Brees
said
though.
the Eagles. Let's talk about the Eagles. What have we learned about the Eagles in training camp? Anything important? Well, first off, shout out to Jason Kelsey getting the ESPN job, even though that kind of screws over my guy RG3.
Yeah, but I mean, Jason Kelsey is going to be more entertaining. That's what it's about,
Yeah,
right?
that's hurtful.
I mean, it's the truth. I mean,
I didn't say that it wasn't. I'm just saying
okay.
that it's hurtful.
All right. So before we get into that, I want to give a shout out to Jeffrey Lurie and the Eagles organization for their autism challenge. Um, they have a 10K walk that they do every year, and this year they in donations they've earned about $8 million, a little more than $8 million. And since 2018, when they started the Eagles Autism Challenge, they've earned over 30 million. So,
That's really
um,
cool.
yeah, really,
Salute to Lori for that.
yeah. So
That's awesome.
all the money goes to Eagles. All the money goes to autism awareness. So
As,
yeah,
as somebody that has a family member with autism, that's multiple family members with autism. That's awesome.
yeah. So salute them. All right, OTAs. Actually, before we get into that, we didn't talk about this as we was not on last week, but Devontae Parker retired suddenly. Um,
Yeah, that was really surprising. Oh no, well he said he wanted to be with his kids, right?
well, yeah, I get, yeah, that's what he said. Yes, we'll go with that. Yes. Uh,
I mean,
uh,
unless you got something else that
He
you want
was
to
not
share,
gonna make the cut.
you don't think so?
thank you, Earl.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm dang.
I mean, let's be honest. He had some competition. He announced his retirement. He didn't actually suit up for the Philadelphia Eagles, so it's kind of hard for me to say. Sorry, we're gonna miss him, but because he never actually played for us. But
Because you guys drafted 2 wide receivers too, right?
yes, we did. Yes, we did. So let's get into that. So OTAs. Now, the receiver that we're all looking forward to didn't participate because he has a lingering injury from college, and that's Aeneas Smith. Speed guy, could play in a slot. So I'm eager anticipating to see what he does in training camp coming up. But Devontae Park was going to have some. He was going to have some competition between Aeneas Smith and Johnny Wilson,
I'm actually more excited about Johnny Wilson, honestly.
uh, just because of the size.
Yeah.
Yeah, size matters, but speed matters too. So, but at the end of the day, it's going to come down to what happens in Kellen Moore's offense. And speaking of Kellen Moore, we've got some reports of how the offense is going to run, and what we're seeing so far from reports, just reports, that it's going to be a lot more motion, a lot more switching of receivers and tight ends because the Eagles do have fairly good weapons at receiver and tight end. So I'm going to be very interested to see how because last season under Nick Sirianni and Brian Johnson, the Eagles didn't run a lot of motion.
No, they didn't.
They didn't at all. So when this training camp and the preseason comes along, I'm going to I'm gonna be focused and keyed in on what the offense does pre-snap. Uh, that goes for the receivers. That goes for what Jalen Hurts sees. They don't have that guy who checks all the linebackers and Jason Kelsey anymore. So that's going to be on our new center Cam Jurgens, and it's also going to be on, more importantly, Jalen Hurts to see the blitzes coming, see where the linebackers are coming, and just recognize what the defense is giving him pre-snap.
Get
All
ready for
right,
those option routes, Maurice.
Look, I'm more
I'm
curious about how many times you guys run the ball.
That's a good point. That's a good point. We got Saquon, and out of the backfield, Earl. Hey, we got some weapons. I mean, Saquon catching the ball out of the backfield is not a bad proposition at all.
And you also got Will Shipley too, who can catch the ball at the backfield too.
Mm, we'll see. We'll see about that one. But I do like Saquon, and Kenneth Gainwell is going to be the number 2 running back, so that's going to be a competition in itself. But um, yeah,
Uh,
I'm hearing a lot of things. You guys, especially Earl, have warned me about Kellen Moore. We're going to see what Kellen Moore does with the offensive weapons that he has here, because I don't think he's had the weapons here that he's had anywhere else.
I mean, he had it in Dallas. He just screwed it up. Like,
Yeah,
you had
and San
three.
Diego, San Diego didn't have anything to sneeze at either at wide receiver at the time, or
Yeah,
quarterback.
He had three wide receivers that could have went over 1,000 yards, and Amari Cooper, C.D. Lamb, and Michael Gallup squandered it. Then on top
Yep.
of that, had Mike Williams also, Keenan Allen. Then you had Jalen Guyton. Then it was I forgot the other receiver that was there. Then you had Eckler. Then you had a bigger wide receiver that was like a tight end.
Keenan
So
Yeah,
Allen.
he no,
yeah.
not Keenan Allen. It was another guy. I forgot his name. He had
The
like a
point, but the
six
point
six
is
six seven
that
frame. So
this
he's
is going to
had
be.
weapons.
Yeah, it's not about not having weapons for him. It's being smart enough to how to use them. By the way, speaking of Michael Gallup, I think he went to the Raiders, right, Earl?
Yep.
Okay.
Best of luck to him.
Best of luck.
Maurice, I did want
Mhm.
to let you know this. Depending on how much Jalen Hurts is taking in and what Kellen Moore is preaching, that'll be the determination factor on how well this offense is going to click. Because the receivers got to be on the same page with their quarterback based on anticipation on where he's going to throw the ball. So they're going to have to be really smart, and hopefully Kellen Moore's learned from what he has done in order to get the guys where they need to. But it's also going to be based on the anticipation on what the quarterback does, along with whatever routes he's designating for that. So it's going to be interesting to see.
So when it comes to that, what I've seen so far from Kellen Moore and just watching offenses he's coached in the past, a lot of it is timing based.
Mm-hmm.
So what the Eagles receivers, AJ Brown, Devontae, and whoever else, they're going to have to get off the line. And now I don't think that's going to be a problem for AJ, but Devontae might be an issue. We will see. I don't think he's ever had an issue getting off the line or getting jammed at the line in the seasons past. So it's all about timing. Jalen, I will say this about Jalen Hurts, and we'll talk more about Jalen in the mailbag. Jalen Hurts is an underrated passer. And what I mean by that is his throws are underrated. He throws a good ball. And a lot of his balls are what I would say anticipated throws. Like he's throwing to a spot and the guy will just go get it, like AJ or Devontae.
Well,
What you have to say?
it's just the option route. You gotta wait and it could go very well for you guys, or Hurts could have his career high in interceptions this season.
You mean interceptions?
Yeah, that's what I said. Interceptions. So we'll see. Is there anything else about the Eagles that we need to know about in training camp? Any positional battles? Anything like that?
Jordan Davis came in the OTAs a little slim. Not a little slim, but for him to be the big guy that he is, he looked a little slim from pictures.
I
He's
mean,
going by.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
No. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
What I said this about Jordan Davis last season. He can come into shape and lose weight, and come into camp losing weight. It's about his conditioning, and can he maintain his conditioning throughout the season? Because if you're a big defensive nose tackle like he is, and you're not conditioned and you're tired, you can get stood up a lot, and that can really hurt the run game on the defensive side. So we're gonna see how the weight loss helps him this coming training camp. I'm expecting a big season from him and Jalen Carter. So we will see about that. And real quick, James Bradbury did not show up for OTAs.
Interesting.
The belief is that he's gonna be out of here one way or another.
I mean, yeah, y'all got 2 rookie corners.
Yeah,
top corners too. So
yeah, and Quinyon Mitchell, a lot of people have him already penciled in as one of the starters next to Slay. Like I said, we will see. We'll see how it goes in training camp and preseason. But I do expect big things from him. And the other corner, Cooper DeJean, from what we've seen in reports, Vic Fangio has him kind of like what I described to him before the draft was the Swiss Army knife in the secondary. A guy who can, he can play slot, he can play safety, just an all around guy that you want in there with the speed and athleticism that he has. I'm really interested. He might be the one I'm more interested in going into training camp, just to see where he fits. But he's a talented dude.
yeah, because y'all got a lot of young guys in the secondary. You definitely, hopefully, Avante
young guys on
can stay
defense
healthy too.
Young guys on defense in general. Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah.
Y'all got a lot of key pieces, seeing how they will fit and key in. But y'all got a good amount of depth there.
Yeah. And real quick, before we continue, Eagles play on Friday. The home opener is Friday. That's 100 days from now. And the season starts on Thursday, which is 99 days from now. So can't wait.
I think it's 98. I think.
You sure?
Let's not worry about semantics, guys. It's
all I know. Football is under 100 days. Let's just
that. Absolutely. So I'm going to cover the Giants section because Mal's here because her boss is terrible. Sorry.
Hey, be careful with that, man.
Hey, she said we could. She said we could.
I think you might want to add that.
Yeah, I just don't. Hey, that's Disney. Mickey Mouse, like,
no. This isn't the Disney job. This is the other job.
Oh, the other one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Disney. My bad, Disney.
Yeah, no. Disney's good. No. This, I believe, is her other job. Yeah, no. So anyway, I'm not editing that out. But anyway, she said we could. I am going to do it. Okay. There will be shots fired.
Unfiltered.
Well, no, we can't do unfiltered, but we'll do uncaring. There we go. That's probably better.
Make sure you got your Nerf clips ready.
I ain't worried about nothing. Anyway, so few things. Daniel Jones is on track to be ready for training camp.
Wow.
Yeah, ACL week after tearing his ACL early. Should be ready for training camp. Not a big deal. It wasn't fired up to hear that the Giants were looking at other quarterback options in the draft.
Oh, of course not. They paid their man.
Yeah. Offensive line right now, it looks like the offensive line aligning is Andrew Thomas at left tackle, Jeremy Luminor at left guard, John Michael Schmidt at center, John Runyon at right guard, and Evan Neal right tackle. It appears that if Neal doesn't prove that he's good enough to be the right tackle, that Illuminor is going to take his place.
I would kick him in the guard,
and then Neal will go battle for the left guard position. By sounds of it, that is just what I've been reading.
I think that would fit best with what he's gonna do. Have him earn that.
Apparently, he does not have a very short leash at all right now. So in terms of messing up, so we'll wait and see. But now this is interesting. It appears that maybe Dable's taking over play calling. So we'll see if that from Mike Kafka. So we'll see if that actually happens.
Yeah, seeing that type of scheme set before.
So we'll see. It's just it's nothing official, but it appears that head coach Brian Dable might be taking over play calling. it looked like Dable was calling the plays on their 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 periods at training camp. I mean OTAs. So we'll see. They've also, instead of Banks, which me and Mile have been praising his play for the second CB cornerback position, it's actually first shot at it is going to Cordell Flott. I don't know anything about him, guys. If you guys do, you guys can add something. But that's positional.
I gotta look up some tape on him.
Yeah, no. I mean, look, he's 22. He's young. He's younger than some of the rookies, but apparently he's getting the first shot at it. So we'll see how that works out.
Hey, it's earning the spot.
Yeah, Graham Gano looks healthy here. Outside of that, Darius Slay has shown up to a voluntary workouts by the looks of it.
You said Darius Slayton?
Yeah, Slayton. He has shown up to. He initially wasn't, but now he's showing up to the OTA. So that's voluntary OTA. So that's good. Yeah. So, and then on top of that, the Giants are also hosted veteran DB Joshua Kalu from their host. They hosted him for visit workout. So we'll see if they end up bringing him in. And I don't know much about him. It looks like he played in a lot of games, but last season he didn't play in any game. But he seems more like a practice squad guy. And then finally, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but there was some Justin Jefferson to the Giants talk at the draft. Apparently, the Vikings were talking to the Giants, or unconfirmed, but there was buzz that Jefferson almost went to the Giants for the number 6 pick.
Oh, that's interesting.
That would have been crazy.
There was also talks for the Vikings to move up to number 5 with the Chargers as well. So.
They're probably looking at one of the quarterbacks or so.
Yeah, I mean, Vikings ended up going with McCarthy, but they were looking. It seems like I'm not 100% sure on this, but it looks like if they got to 6, they might have taken Neighbors to have a cheap number 1 option
to make up for the Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
pair him with Jordan Addison. I got you.
Yeah, something along the. I could be wrong. Let me read this real quick. This is from the Pioneer Press. They said the buzz at the draft was the Vikings wanted to move up from 11 to 5, not to pick a quarterback, but get LSU wide receiver Malik Neighbors. So not only were they looking at 5, but they were looking at 6 as well by looks of it. So
that would have been
to go young.
Yeah, that would have actually been a nice little wide receiver 1 and 2 for if they were to pull that off.
But would Jefferson have worked in New York? They would have had to give him an extension.
I mean, it comes down to the Giants.
And you would have to deal with Daniel Jones as quarterback. Would you be happy if you were a wide receiver? I don't know, but we got to keep.
I think it will work. I think it will work.
Maybe, but let's get to our social media stuff. So we're gonna go with the mailbags first.
Yep. All right, so we have 2 mailbags since we took the week off last week. So let's start with our mailbag for the Philadelphia Eagles, since we were just talking about Jalen Hurts. The mailbag question is, what happens if Jalen Hurts doesn't bounce back this season? Well, first of all, by bouncing back, the issue Jalen Hurts had last season was too many turnovers. I think he had like 15 or 16 interceptions. That was way up from the season before. But he actually threw more yards last season. So take that into account. But all in all, he did have a down season. So to answer the question, what happens if Jalen Hurts doesn't bounce back this season? Nothing. Nothing is going to happen. He's contracted for me. He's getting paid, and he's going to get paid next season too. And I don't think anybody here realistically thinks that Jalen Hurts is going to have like a huge fall off.
I mean, look at his offensive. Sorry, I'm done. I'm trolling now. I'll leave
Nah,
it
go
alone.
ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
no,
Speak your
Lucas.
mind.
It sound like you're
Yeah,
reaching
you
a
were gonna
little
say
bit, but
something.
go
Yeah, you
ahead.
were reaching. Go
I
ahead.
mean, I mean, look.
You open that can of gummy worms. Come on, let's go.
I mean, we've already talked about it. I mean, like the like his last season being the Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator, Dak had led the league in interceptions in only 14 games. So let's
So
keep
you're
that in mind.
saying,
Let's
that the Kellen Moore effect could happen to Jalen.
yeah, it could. We'll see. We'll see.
All I know, if they're gonna lean towards him passing the ball 40, 45 times, I doubt it's unlikely. But if they decide to get him close to 40, y'all gonna have to figure something out.
Mm-hmm. Because it could be like Eric Bieniemy and Sam Howell.
Oh no, no.
See, look,
No, no,
Jalen
no.
Hurts, Jalen Hurts in 2022 threw for 3,700 yards, 6 interceptions. Last season, he threw for 3,800 yards and 15 interceptions. Now, that was last season with Brian Johnson as offensive coordinator. Brian Johnson was terrible. The offense was terrible, as we all saw. I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to have 15 interceptions this season. If he does, then we can start talking about a fall off. But if he throws for 4,000 yards with the increase in passing from Kellen Moore and his interceptions is around 10, I think
Well,
he's going to have,
then it's a win. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
he's going to be an MVP candidate and he's going to have a great season. And the Eagles will be pretty good as well.
All right. So what's the other mailbag from this past week?
All right, so we're going to switch over to the Dallas Cowboys mailbag. And I have two questions from the Dallas Cowboys mailbag. And the first one is, are the coaching hires what you wanted? And let me throw the second question out there, and we can all talk about it. The second question is: do you think Dak choked in his playoff games? So, Earl,
Ooh.
what you got?
All right, I'm gonna go through the coaching hires. Actually, yes, the coaches that I really wanted, especially on the defensive side, having Mike Zimmer there, also getting Paul Gunther there, and Jeff Zagonia there. Overall, from what I'm hearing from Mike McCarthy and what McCarthy said, he wanted this team to have edge. And bringing in Mike Zimmer, he has the accolades, he has the medals, and he has the skins on the wall. And I believe his hard knocks, old school teaching is what's going to best help the defense. Because I feel like they really needed that. They needed accountability. And that also will send waves to the team as well, being fundamentally sound, helping the guy next to you, not looking out for yourself, but being able to be a team organized machine when it comes on the defensive side of the ball. So I think this year will be definitely different on the defensive side of the ball, especially with accountability and having structure from what I'm hearing a lot of guys at the OTA saying with it. And they're really excited on how this is going to go into play. The next question, could you repeat that second question?
Dak is a playoff choker.
Saying Dak did, do I think Dak choked in his
Do
playoff
you
games?
think? Do you think Dak choked in his playoff games?
I don't think he did. Now, his first playoff game against Green Bay, his rookie year, he balled out, but the defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. They let a last minute play get the Packers in field goal range to seal the game winning field goal. I can't put that blame on him. The second time around, when he played against the Seahawks, won that game, and then played the Rams in the divisional round. Defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. They had over 250 yards put on them on the run game itself. I can't put that on Dak. When they played the 49ers, he only could do what he could do. Defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. It seems like each time during these playoff games, the defense is what caused the penalties as well as not being able to stop the run. Kind of is really clear as day to say Defense got to stop the run. Dak had the numbers, but I can't say that he choked in the game. Now I can say the last game I sensed some chokage. The team was already behind, and he forced some stuff. But then that also believes that the defense couldn't stop the run. They couldn't get off the field. So it was pretty much playing catch up for most of the postseason games. But overall, I can't say that he choked in his playoff games. He may have choked in the last one, but he was fighting to get his team back and made some boneheaded mistakes, even the pick six. So
So you're
I
saying
don't.
the defense is the cause?
Yes, because when you can't go in there to stop the run, what is most of the postseason teams doing? They're running the football. So if you can't stop the run and getting gashed like a college football video game, how are you supposed to win the postseason? How are you going to win the playoff game?
Shout out to NCAA 2025.
Yes, I'm excited for that game. I'm ready for whoever's ready to play it.
I might need to get a PS5 just so I can play it.
Yes, so I
Hey,
can.
this is a when Earl was talking about Dak in the playoffs, it's a deep cut for me because, and Lucas knows exactly where I'm going with this. You sound when it comes to Dak in the playoffs, you sound exactly like how I feel about our basketball player Joel Embiid. It's so similar. And I'm sorry for the basketball talk, but Joel
You
Embiid
had to
is
bring it
Oh
up.
no, let's speak.
he's like the
Let's
basketball
talk
Dak
on.
Prescott.
Let's actually talk on the basketball side. I actually believe the Cowboys, they're sitting on their hands while all the other Texas teams are making it to conference championships,
I
trying to get to
mean,
the
you got a
championship
point. I mean,
Yeah.
the Mavericks are about to get into the
Finals.
NBA Finals, and I think they have a shot. They have a puncher's shot to win it.
The Texas Rangers are the champions, and
And the
the Dallas
Stars were
Stars. The Dallas Stars are in the finals, like the conference finals,
Stanley Cup. Yeah,
Stanley Cup finals.
do your
And
part.
do your part,
look,
Cowboys.
look, all I'm gonna tell y'all, I did a I did a little quick stat line just to see how pathetic this is. Y'all won't believe me, but when I got a chance to see what the problem was with what they were doing, there was this little joke. This joke saying that it's zero for the Texas Rangers because they won the World Series. The Dallas Mavericks, the last time they at least sniffed it was about a couple of years. The Dallas Stars, like a couple of years, maybe one or two. Dallas is at 10,342 days.
I saw that. I saw that one. I
Ooh.
was like, I'm not gonna send it to Earl, but I saw it.
Okay, so this what it was. Days since the last conference final or LCS appearance for Dallas teams. Mavericks 0. Dallas Stars 0. Texas Rangers 209. The Cowboys 10,352 days.
Earl.
Earl, let me ask you this: if the Cowboys won the Super Bowl, would you go to Dallas or Arlington or wherever it's at for the parade?
Shoot, I would go to the Super Bowl. I would
Okay.
I would bump work. Like I will be there.
Earl will
Like
be like,
legit.
see ya.
Wherever it's at.
If I
Okay.
make it, look, if I talk to Jerry and Son and be like, "Hey, can I get on the mic?" I'm coming after everybody. I'm gonna tear up the streets.
Earl's gonna have his own diss track for the Jones family.
He
I'm be
would.
like, "God darn, y'all set it off. Y'all making fun of me out here and set it off. I'm gonna come after y'all hypothetically." That's how I feel with the whole Dak situation. But I do have a question for Cowboys Nation. Where do y'all guys think y'all will be? Okay, you know where this team is, because I need to see which side you're gonna be on at the start of the season on how things roll. No flip flopping, no changing. I need to know where your allegiance lie. If it's one of goofiness, y'all can stay on the outside. Those who are embracing what could happen and believe in this team, be on one side. No flip flopping. I need to know where y'all are with this team And do y'all believe this team can go further than what they have been doing,
All right, we
regardless
got
of regular season record?
That's a question to the Cowboys Nation. I will definitely be clipping that.
yes. Let's go ahead and we are going to move on now to Earl's favorite segment.
Who's that football player? Deanie.
Now, before you start, Earl, I have to say for the Commanders one, there was a typo in the graphic. I apologize. It was supposed to be 1,191, not 1,911. I apologize to our fans on that one. By the time I noticed it, it was far too late. That being said, Earl, take it away.
Will do. The first Who's That football player played in the NFC East back in 1999. His season stats was 65 receptions, 1,191 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 3 fumbles. Guys, do you know who's that football player?
I mean,
What
I
was
do, but I'm not
what,
allowed to
what was
say.
what was the year again?
1999.
He was for the Commanders.
And what was the stats again?
It was 65 receptions, 1,191 yards. He had 9 touchdowns, and 3 fumbles.
Can I tell him?
Yeah, I'm lost on that one.
Go
It's
ahead,
Michael
tell him.
Westbrook.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I see what you did there.
Yeah, yeah.
And what was the other one?
I'll explain each player after I finish up. But the next Who's That football player was also in the NFC East division. His best season stat back in 2007, he had 1,333 rushing yards. He rushed for 7 touchdowns. He had 2 fumbles. He had 771 receiving yards, five receiving touchdowns. His career awards is a 2-time Pro Bowler and an All-Pro. Guys, who's that football player?
Maurice, you better get this one.
I think he already knows.
Yeah, it's Brian Westbrook. So I get the whole Westbrook thing. I see what you did there.
It was funny. It was funny because he was just like, let me just double down on Westbrook this week when he sent me this week's one. I was like, okay, I got you. I like it.
Both guys had a phenomenal season back in 1999 and then in 2007. Each guys had their own key part within themselves on the team. Brian Westbrook was a solid running back with the Eagles back in the day. Also, when McNabb was there.
Yeah.
He was a solid player. He also did punt returns, which he also did the return game. So I give respect to it, even though I don't like y'all guys. But
Brian Westbrook had some of his best games against the Giants.
Maurice, let me ask you this: is Westbrook a top 5 running back of all time in Eagles history?
I believe so.
I would say so too.
Yeah, I would say so.
And actually, he is. Where I was looking up the history with the running backs, he's actually somewhere in the top 5 because it was like a top 10 that they did.
Hey, hang on, Maurice. Why would you share that in the Slack during the middle? Now you got me in a bad mood.
Wait, what did he put?
It was kind of breaking news.
According to Bleacher Report, NFL rumors. Washington Commanders co-owner says team name is staying for now, despite poll of 54% of fans dislike or hate it.
I knew that was gonna happen.
Lucas is devastated.
Hey Maurice, look at all these rumors.
My
They're
hands are up in
ruining
the air,
Lucas'
shaking
day.
Why?
He'll be all right.
At the end of the day, Lucas, it's a name. You want to see what the football team does, their performance on the field.
Right. It doesn't matter of the name.
That's
if
true,
you win a Super Bowl, your name could be the Washington Wizards. I mean, it doesn't matter. If you win a Super Bowl,
it would be the football Wizard kids. I think you'll still like it if they won the Super Bowl.
Guys, we're not winning a Super Bowl this year. Give me. Like, let's be realistic, okay? So, like, I need something more. Give me more. I'm a little selfish. Give me more. But anyway,
hey, Michael Westbrook, he was a solid receiver for the Commanders back in the day, and give credit where it's due. I don't like y'all teams, but I'm showing respect to the guys who had solid careers with y'all teams.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get to the poll questions and the trivia real quick. So I'm gonna do both because Mal's not here to do the poll questions. So the first poll question was, what is the most likely record for the Washington Commanders based off their schedule? On Twitter, 33% were tied for 7-10 or other.
Now, before we do talk about this, you're not going to give yours because we're saving that, right?
Yeah, we're saving it. I'm not gonna say mine.
Okay.
Why did it jump to I hate Facebook sometimes. Okay. Facebook. Let me scroll down because I had it saved, but then it didn't save, and Facebook's being weird. Where is it? There it is. So on Facebook, the same poll was tied at 41% at 8-9 and 7-10. And then in a surprising twist on YouTube, 57% said that the Commanders would have a record of 9-8.
So we know where the Commander fans are at.
Yeah, we
They're
definitely know.
on YouTube.
Yep, they're on YouTube. Shout out to Rio Robinson.
Shout out to him. If they go 9-8, that's a great season.
That's
a plus.
That is an above. That's higher than expectations.
And Jaden Daniels is the man. He's the future.
Yeah, it's interesting to see where how the fan base is split on this. So, anyway, going to the next one. The next poll question is, who will be CB1 after Darius Slay eventually moves on? Quinyon Mitchell or Cooper DeJean? I'm going to let you guys know right now, Quinyon Mitchell wins all three polls.
Yeah.
That was a no-brainer.
Like I just said it earlier. Like I said it earlier, he's penciled in to beat up the other corner aside from Slay right now, and he hasn't played a game yet. So, we expect big things from him.
Yeah, so anyway, that's it for the polls. I think the Commanders poll was really interesting to see the diversity, but yeah, that Eagles poll seemed pretty straightforward on that one. Now the team trivia questions. Let me pull them up real quick. I didn't go for Instagram on them because we don't get a lot of our Instagram followers. Start doing our polls with us, please.
Please and thank you.
Yeah,
we greatly appreciate it.
That being said, first trivia question was Dallas Cowboys, and I'm interested to see if Earl knows this one. Which former player has the longest kickoff return in Dallas Cowboys franchise history with 102 yards?
That is a good question.
I actually have to pull up the answer because I don't remember the answer off the top of my head because this was 2 weeks ago.
Off the top of my head, I was thinking Dion.
I remember the year.
What was the year?
Looking at it, the year was
I think I know the year.
What's the year, Earl?
1991.
That
was the year I was born.
Yes, it was. I did that on purpose.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a guess on it and see if I rock with this. I'm gonna say Alexander Wright.
You are correct.
Awesome. I believe because I always watch the old Dallas Cowboys videos and see just what ways it could help this team and now without it like really manipulating stuff from the past. And seeing Wright run a 102-yard kickoff against the Atlanta Falcons, I was like, man, with how they're doing the new ruling and stuff, those kickoff returns now are going to be like lethal. And I think that's going to be solid for Turpin, especially with his return game skills.
Yeah.
But then I also had a quick nugget. I looked at the other kickoff returns. Cavante Turpin and Felix Jones both tied with 98-yard returns in their respective games. And a hidden nugget back in the 70s, Dallas Cowboy linebacker Darrell Hollywood Henderson ran a 92 to 97-yard kickoff return as a linebacker.
Wow. That is yep, I see that. Yeah, 97. 1970 he played from 75 to 79. But we got to keep on moving. So we're going to go to the other trivia question, which is the New York Giants have the most recorded wins against which NFL franchise? This should be a gimme. And I'm sad
sorry,
that
Lucas.
yeah, I already know. Just say it.
It was the Washington Commanders at a total of 107 wins.
Yeah, I know.
Damn.
I know.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. Like
I
Sheesh.
wanted to give Mal a gimme on this one. And of course, this is the podcast that her boss decided to not let her get off on the time that she was supposed to get off of. So, you know.
And that's going back. That's a lot of L's. That's going back to the 1930s.
Yeah, they've actually played the most games against each other too, which I find interesting.
You know what's crazy? I actually got a stat line for all our teams in the division. I'll send that to y'all a little later because the crazy on most of the wins of that from the Giants against the Commanders is wild.
Yeah, there's only one team in the division that the Giants have a losing record against, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Maurice, you want to guess who that is?
I'm going to assume it's the Eagles.
Nope.
Oh wow, it's the Giants. I mean, the Cowboys. I'm going to say.
How can they play themselves?
Yeah, I don't know. But it's the Cowboys.
Yes, Cowboys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
and
it's by a lot, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's a major landslide. The last time
we'll talk about it for another.
But Lucas, I'm gonna throw you a bone for enduring this. I got a hot take.
Okay.
I think the Commanders are gonna sweep the Giants this season.
I would love that. I would love to just rub that in Mal and Becca's face. That would be so fantastic. It'd be a chef's kiss.
I think it would just kind of be semi of just like what you had to go through and how much heat they were just putting on you. I think this is definitely gonna rude their awakening.
Also, it would help me win my bet with Mal too. So you know.
Oh yeah, with the jerseys.
Yeah,
I ain't forgot about that.
Customized shirts. All right. Anyway, so that wraps up this pod. We're gonna let Maurice play us out. Maurice, just let people know the next 4 pods we are going to be doing grades for the off season. So that is what we're doing, and then I'm thinking after that we might do a quarterback ranking of not only the division but possibly the NFL.
Ooh, spicy.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, but
I like that. I like that
too. So anyway, Maurice, go ahead, play us out, bud.
So like Lucas was saying, the next couple of weeks we'll focus on our team's off-season moves. That's to come, so stay tuned for that. And we truly all thank you for listening to us. We truly do appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. And now we're on YouTube as well. Check us out on there. You can watch our bloopers, and our whole podcast episodes will be on YouTube as well. So give us a subscribe and thumbs up. Make sure to follow us on Twitter or X, Instagram, and Facebook at 13_rings podcast. Until next week, have a good day.
See ya.
Blessings.